नमो नमः। परम आयुर्वेद आयोजित और पंचकर्मा महर्षि वैद्यराज त्र्यम गुप्ते पुरस्कार प्राप्त चरक संहिता अध्ययन अध्यापन तद्विद्य संभाषा इस उपक्रम के 350वें पुष्प में आप सभी का सहर्ष स्वागत। इस उपक्रम का हर एक पुष्प खास होता है, लेकिन आज का पुष्प और भी खास है क्योंकि पूरे भारत में ही नहीं अपितु पूरे विश्व में राष्ट्रीय आयुर्वेद दिवस मनाया जाता है। इस धनत्रयोदशी पे ये 9वां राष्ट्रीय आयुर्वेद दिवस है। तो आज का दिन हमारे लिए क्यों खास है? क्योंकि अंतरराष्ट्रीय स्तर पर एवं आयुर्वेद क्षेत्र में अत्यंत दिग्गज माने जाने वाले परम गुरुवर्य आदरणीय वैद्यराज महेश व्यास सर और आदरणीय परम गुरुवर्य अष्टवैद्य नारायण नाम्बी सर हमारे साथ है। तो आप दोनों को भी सादर प्रणाम और आपका सहर्ष स्वागत। पुष्प का आरंभ हम धन्वंतरि स्तवन से करेंगे।
नमामि धन्वन्तरिमादिदेवम् सुरासुरैर्वन्दितपादपद्मम् लोके जनार्दन भयमृत्युनाशनम् धातारमीशं विविधौषधीनाम् शङ्खं चक्रं जलौका दधतमृतघटम् चारुदोर्भिश्चतुर्भिः सूक्ष्मत्वच्छातिर्हृद्या शुकपरिविलसन् मौलिमं भोजनेत्रम् कटितटविलसत् चारुपीताम्बराढ्यम् वन्दे धन्वन्तरिं निखिलगगनम्
धन्यवाद। ऑल इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ आयुर्वेद आयुष मंत्रालय यहाँ के डीन और सबके प्यारे आदरणीय परम गुरुवर्य वैद्यराज महेश व्यास महोदय अत्यंत व्यग्र होने के बावजूद भी कितने व्यग्र होंगे, तो हम सबके आदरणीय पंत प्रधान नरेंद्र मोदी जी अय्या में आने वाले हैं और उसकी पूरी जिम्मेवारी सर पर है। तो सर के सर पर है, इतनी सारी जिम्मेदारी होने के बावजूद भी सर ने हमारा निमंत्रण स्वीकार किया और इतना अमूल्य समय हमें दे रहे हैं। तो मैं परम आयुर्वेद के संस्थापक वैद्य महेश भुजबल जी से अनुरोध करती हूँ कि आप इस उपक्रम के बारे में संक्षिप्त में जानकारी दे और सर का परिचय भी करवा दे। धन्यवाद।
परम आयुर्वेद की तरफ से मैं सभी गुरुजनों का तथा उपस्थित सभी परम वैद्य मित्रों का स्वागत करता हूँ। आप सभी को दिवाली की शुभकामनाएं। इस उपक्रम की शुरुआत 2016 में धनत्रयोदशी के दिन प्रथम राष्ट्रीय आयुर्वेद दिवस के शुभ अवसर पर हुई। पिछले 8 साल में 135 से ज्यादा गुरुवर्यों ने इस उपक्रम में मार्गदर्शन किया है तथा पूरे भारतवर्ष से आप जैसे परम वैद्य मित्रों ने प्रत्यक्ष रूप से तथा ऑनलाइन इस ज्ञान का अधिग्रहण किया है। 12,000 वैद्य से ज्यादा वैद्यों ने यूट्यूब के माध्यम से हमसे जुड़े जुड़े हुए हैं। आज इस उपक्रम का 350वां पुष्प संपन्न होने जा रहा है। मैं सभी गुरुवर्यों का तथा आप सभी परम वैद्य मित्रों का अभिनंदन और आभार मानता हूँ। इस उपक्रम के साथ ही परम आयुर्वेद ने नेचुरल हर्बल कॉस्मेटिक आयुर्वेदिक प्रिपरेशन वर्कशॉप ऐसे 15 देशों में अब तक ऑनलाइन माध्यम से और भारत में पूरे भारत में 600 से ज़्यादा वैद्यों को पिछले 65 बैच में ट्रेनिंग दिया है। शुद्ध आयुर्वेद का भैषज्य कल्पना का ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा कॉस्मेटिक्स में उपयोग कैसे किया जाए ये हम इसमें आपको सिखाते हैं। इसके साथ ही परम गति ग्लोबल आयुर्वेद ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट ये एक परम गुरुकुल हमने पिछले कुछ महीनों से शुरू किया है। उसका एक पुष्प रसायनम ये संपन्न हुआ है। आज के पुष्प के लिए हमें विशेष अतिथि स्वरूप वैद्य महेश व्यास सर जी का आशीष प्राप्त हुआ है। आप ऑल इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ आयुर्वेदा मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ आयुष न्यू दिल्ली के अधिष्ठाता पद से विभूषित है। आपने संहिता सिद्धांत इस विषय में आयुर्वेद में पीएचडी डिग्री प्राप्त की है तथा इस संस्था के संहिता विभाग के आप प्रमुख हैं। पिछले 24 सालों से आप पीजी के बहुसंख्य विद्यार्थियों को मार्गदर्शन कर चुके हैं। आयुर्वेद के क्षेत्र में अतीव आयुर्वेद फिलॉसफी, फंडामेंटल प्रिंसिपल एंड रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी इन विषयों में आपको विशेष रुचि है। आपके 100 से भी ज़्यादा पब्लिकेशंस उपलब्ध हैं। तो आपके बहुमूल्य ज्ञान का हमें मार्गदर्शन प्राप्त हो, इसलिए मैं सर से विनती करता हूँ कि आप हमें गाइड करें। धन्यवाद।
नमो नमः सर। गुरुवर्य महेश व्यास सर, क्या आप मुझे सुन रहे हैं?
सारिका जी
जी
जी ओके। तो नमस्ते एवरीवन। फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल माय डीपेस्ट थैंक्स to the organizers for giving me this opportunity. I must congratulate Vedya Sarika Bhujbal ji and Vedya Mahesh Bhujbal ji for this nice initiative. It is truly admiring to see a program like this dedicated to the continuous study and sharing of Ayurveda knowledge through Charak Samhita. Vedya Sarika ji and Vedya Mahesh Bhujbal ji have shown an extraordinary commitment to create something meaningful with Param Ayurveda. Through their vision, Ayurveda experts, students, and practitioners from across India have a platform to connect, grow, and support each other's journey in Ayurveda. Programs like this make the ancient teaching of Charak Samhita easy to assess and understand. They allow Vidyas to keep learning, improve their skill, and use this knowledge to help gain more expertise. By bringing together experts from all over India, Param Ayurveda creates a strong community. Practitioners can share their knowledge, learn from each other, and keep up with new ideas, I wholeheartedly appreciate and admire the success of Param Ayurveda. And with the Sarika ji and with the Mahesh Bhujbal ji for their remarkable efforts. Their hard work in improving the Ayurveda community, keeping the teaching of Charak Samhita alive and reachable for new generations. My very best wishes to them and everyone involved in this initiative. May this program continue to grow and inspire to coming years. I truly admire the work being done here. Best wishes to Param Ayurveda. I also wish them good luck in their future endeavors. Thank you one and all. और एक और बात मैं विशेष रूप से यहाँ पर कहना चाहूंगा कि 2016 में फर्स्ट आयुर्वेद डे प्रारंभ हुआ और 2016 में ही आपने परम आयुर्वेद प्रारंभ किया और ये नवम आयुर्वेद दिवस हम कल मनाने जा रहे हैं। तो नवम आयुर्वेद दिवस भी उसी प्रकार की तैयारी के साथ पूरे देश में मनाया जा रहा है और मैं सारिका जी को और महेश भुजबल जी को हार्दिक बधाई देना चाहूंगा कि मैंने ऑनलाइन के कई प्रोग्राम अटेंड किए हैं, कई में गेस्ट लेक्चर दिए हैं, पर जितना वेल मैनेज्ड, जितना सिस्टमेटिक रूप से आपका ये प्रोग्राम है, शायद ही और कोई प्रोग्राम होगा। तो मैं आप दोनों को बहुत बधाई देता हूँ। और ये जैसा कि आपके उसमें लिखा हुआ है 350 लेक्चर आपने कंप्लीट किए हैं। हमारे यहाँ तो कहा जाता है कि अगर कोई मंदिर हो और उस मंदिर में अगर 100 बार कोई अनुष्ठान कर लिया जाए तो वो मंदिर सिद्धपीठ हो जाती है। आपके इस परम आयुर्वेद के माध्यम से 350 लेक्चर्स कंप्लीट हुए हैं, तो निश्चित रूप से परम आयुर्वेद ये जो आपका उपक्रम है एक सफलतम उपक्रम के रूप में स्वीकार किया जा सकता है। 135 विषय विशेषज्ञ इसमें जुड़े, जिनका जो कहना है व्याख्यान हुआ, 12,000 से ज्यादा वैद्य इसमें जुड़े, 4 बड़े कार्यक्रम आपने किए और आज भी आप अष्टवेद नारायण नंबी जी को सुनेंगे। तो इस प्रकार का एक स्टैंडर्ड का प्रोग्राम का आयोजन करने के लिए मैं सारिका जी को बहुत बहुत कहना चाहिए बधाई देता हूं। और एक मेरी धारणा जो थी कि भाई ऑनलाइन प्रोग्राम जो है वो इतने अच्छे नहीं रहते हैं और प्रायः मैं कम ही ज्वाइन करना पसंद करता हूं, लेकिन आपने उस धारणा को आज गलत सिद्ध कर दिया कि ऑनलाइन प्रोग्राम भी इतने अच्छे से आयोजित किए जा सकते। तो आचार्य चरक ने एक ही बात कही, आप तो उपदेश प्रज्ञानम प्रतिपत्तिश्च कारणम भीषक औषध संयोगे चिकित्सा कर तुम अर्हति। एक अच्छा चिकित्सक बनने के लिए आप तो उपदेश का ज्ञान जरूरी है, जो आप चरक संहिता के माध्यम से जो भी गुरुवर यहाँ पर आए उन्होंने आपको समझाया। और दूसरा मुख्य चीज है प्रतिपत्ति, और वो प्रतिपत्ति आपको अनुभव से और आचार्यों के मार्गदर्शन से मिलती है, टेक्स्ट बुक से नहीं मिलती है। तो इन्होंने 350 लेक्चर यहाँ किए, तो निश्चित रूप से आचार्य चरक का जो सिद्धांत है प्रतिपत्तिश्च कारणम, उसमें भी हमारे इसमें भाग लेने वाला प्रत्येक व्यक्ति दक्ष हुआ होगा। तो इसके लिए मैं इनको बधाई दूंगा। और हमारे यहाँ तो केवल इतना कहा गया, ना लोकी चरकम ये ना सवेद्यम किम करिष्यति, मैंने अगर चरक का अवलोकन भी कर लो तो एक अच्छा वैद्य बन जाता है। पर जिस व्यक्ति ने विषय के विशेषज्ञों को 350 विशेषज्ञों को अगर सुना हो, उनके व्याख्यान सुना हो, तो निश्चित रूप से चरक में दक्ष बन सकता है। तो मैं एक बार पुनः आप सबको आयुर्वेद दिवस की शुभकामना देता हूँ, धन्वंतरी जयंती की शुभकामना देता हूँ, और परम आरोग्य ये जो आयुर्वेद है इनके संस्थान है ये और ज्यादा लोकप्रिय हो और इसके माध्यम से सभी लोगों को आयुर्वेद का, चरक संहिता का एक कहना चाहिए कि मर्म जो है वो समझने को मिले। इसके साथ ही आप सभी को धन्वंतरी जयंती की, आयुर्वेद दिवस की शुभकामना। और आप सब कल अखिल भारतीय आयुर्वेद संस्थान में माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के सानिध्य में आयुर्वेद दिवस कार्यक्रम का आयोजन होगा। ऑनलाइन आप सब जुड़े। नमस्कार, धन्यवाद आप सभी।
धन्यवाद गुरुवर्य जी। आपके ये स्नेह भरे शब्द और आपका ये आशीष बहुत मायने रखता है। आपने जो जो संक्षिप्त में बातें कही वैसा ही हमें यहाँ पर फलस्वरूप दिखाई दिया है कि ऊपर ऊपर से देखे तो टू मैन आर्मी है हम दोनों, लेकिन 140 से भी अधिक ज्येष्ठ श्रेष्ठ ज्ञानी वैद्य, उनका आशीर्वाद, उनका मार्गदर्शन और चरक आचार्य जी का भी शीश हम पर है। इसलिए अखंडित रूप से पिछले 8 साल से आपने कहा वैसे गुणवत्तापूर्ण व्याख्यान हो रहे हैं, और जो जब हम बाहर जाते हैं तो समझ में आता है या मैसेज आते हैं कि कितने सारे वैद्यों को इन व्याख्यानों के द्वारा एक दिशा मिली है, और एलोपैथी की प्रैक्टिस बंद करके आयुर्वेदिक प्रैक्टिस शुरू करने का सामर्थ्य एवं विश्वास भी इन व्याख्यानों से मिला है। और उसका गमक यही है कि परम पर मार्गदर्शन करने वाला अध्यापक ये चिकित्सक ही होता है, और इसी उद्देश्य से इस उपक्रम का आरंभ किया है, और आप सबके आशीर्वाद से ये उत्तम रीत्या चल रहा है। आपका आशीर्वाद और स्नेह ऐसे ही हमें प्राप्त हो। नमो नमः। इसके बाद में आज के पुष्प के प्रमुख मार्गदर्शक, अंतरराष्ट्रीय स्तर पे सुप्रसिद्ध आयुर्वेद क्षेत्र में अतीव प्रिय, जिनके बारे में हर कोई जानता है और उनसे सीखना चाहता है, ऐसे आदरणीय परम गुरुवर्य नारायणन नाम्बी सर, इनका परिचय करने हेतु मैं परम सखी वैद्य ज्योति कस्तूरे से अनुरोध करती हूँ।
गुड आफ्टरनून एवरीवन। क्या आप सुन पा रहे हैं मुझे?
जी।
गुड आफ्टरनून एवरीवन। वेलकम टू 350th सेशन ऑफ पंचकर्मा महर्षि वैद्यराज त्रयम गोगटे स्मृति पुरस्कार प्राप्त चरक संहिता अध्ययन अध्यापन तद्विद्य संभाषा. Today I am present to give an introduction of our eminent speaker, Professor Dr. Nambi, who is going to speak on Indriya. Dr. Nambi sir has completed his BMS and MD in Ayurveda from SDM Institute of Karnataka. He belongs to Alathiyur Nambi family, which has a great lineage of Ashtavadyas family of Kerala. He wears multiple hats. He is a well-known Ayurvedic physician, teacher, principal, and also a researcher. Currently working as a principal at Ayurvedic Medical College and Hospital, Palakkad, Kerala. The great teachers doesn't have barriers of borders. Dr. Nambi sir is also such a great teacher. To spread the knowledge of Ayurveda, he is also a regular speaker on international platforms held in countries like Italy, Australia, Russia, Germany, Argentina, USA, and Netherlands. To spread Ayurveda into mass population, he is contributing as a presenter on television program Jeevan Dhara since past decade. Along with his academic work as a researcher, he has published scientific articles and research papers. He has contributed as an author in certain books. He has been awarded with Ashwini Award in 2011 by Padma Vibhushan Shri D. Hegde. Today, we are fortunate to listen to Dr. Nambi sir. From the comfort of our space, I thank organizers for bringing this golden opportunity to our listeners. Further, I sincerely thank to the organizers for giving me an opportunity to introduce such a great personality. I would urge Dr. Nambi sir to start today's session. Thank you.
Namaste all. Am I audible well? I believe so.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Clearly audible
Okay, right.
and nicely visible.
Thank you very much for inviting me for such a wonderful program organized by Param Ayurveda. What I heard is that you have been continuously working from last 8 years for spreading Ayurveda, such a long sessions from multiple people of more than 350 sessions. I really appreciate such a consistency and dedications, making you the program very successful with hundreds of participants hearing this program, both as well as live, as well as in the YouTube and many other platforms. I think my duty is today to speak about something about Charak Samhita. When Sargaji and spoke to me, I was in a confusion what to say, because Charaka Samhita is a very vast subject. And moreover, many people, many Samhitakaras or many people already might have spoken lot about different chapters. Then I had a thought that let me speak something, the chapters which many people never touched. At least maybe few people might have gone through, but most of the time many people never touch. So that area was my today's discussion is on Indriya Sthana. Whenever we start trying to understand Indriya Sthana, many things comes in our mind. First of all, this is the chapters when we are studying in BAMS. There are 12 chapters from Varnaswarubhyam Indriyam to Gome Churniyam Indriyam. 12 chapters. Something very difficult. Rarely some questions comes from the examination. How do we understand this content? It looks very complex, or at least it looks very episodic, or at least it's very difficult to understand from at least from a medical point of view. And what made these people to write this? The death signs, Arishta Lakshanas, Duta, many things. And making us very stressful in our day-to-day life to understand how to this. So in my speech, I try to classify my speech into 3 parts. The first part, I'll try to make an architectural framework, how this Indriya Sthana has been mentioned, how this Indriya Sthana has been constructed, the background behind the essentialities of this Indriya Sthana in the book. And in second part of my speech, I will try to speedily go through all the 12 chapters in a short period of time and try to connect you all about what has been told in these chapters. And in the last part, I'll give some personal examples, personal experiences, and some of the recent studies happened related with philosophies, related with Bhagavatam, related with Indian philosophies, like many Western authors like Brian Wales, Many Life, Many Masters. So from a medical to philosophical, philosophical to spiritual, and vice versa. So that will be my last part of chat. So let me start from my first part. So how do we understand this chapter and what is the logic behind this? That is the first part. So fundamentally, studying Ayurveda itself is a very complex way, and trying to understand the basics of a person is a bit challenging. So how do we understand? So generally, when we say body, which is made up of Pancha Mahabhuta and Atma, we call it as Shaddhadatmaka Purusha. And in this Shaddhadatmaka Purusha, we have Atma and Pancha Mahabhuta. There is no description directly there about the Manas or Jnanendriya, because the Chedana one is the Atma and the Jadarupi is the Sharira. So the Chedana one, end of the Jadarupi of Sharira is the Indriya, and the Jadarupi end of the Chedana one part of the Sharira is Indriya, and the Chedana one end of the contacting with Jadarupi is the Manas. So we have two components. One is Mahabhutas and Atma, and this together, and there is an end connecting, that is Panchajnanendriyas, Indriyas, as well as we have the Manas, which is in connection with that. And this whole body we try to understand based on superficially dosha dhatu malamulam sada dehasya from a Vagbhada's point of view. So Dehi, that is Atma, and Deha is the Sharira. So whenever Dehi resides in the Deha, that is Atma resides in the Sharira, we call it as Dehi. Dosha dhatu malamulam, it is rooted with dosha dhatu and mala. If dosha dhatu and mala is not in a good position to perform well, then we get disease. That is why Anugranadi Avikritaha. Vagbhada says the karmas of dosha dhatu mala, while explaining dosha, Vagbhada says Ulsaha Chwasa Nischwasa Chesta Vega Pravartani Samyagatya Chadadunam Akshanam Padavenaja Anugranadi. They bless us Avikritaha. In a Prakrita state, they will bless us and keep our body well. But suppose the Atman separates from this dosha dhatu mala complex, then death is inevitable for anybody. Now the question is, how do we understand this perception? Let me give you a simple example. One simple example. During COVID period, I was been visiting to many patients in the house because many people doesn't want to take their bedridden parents or grandparents to the hospital. Maybe they are nearing to the death and they want to declare the death, if at all dead. And they didn't want to take to the hospital because of the reason that if they took the related to the hospital, they may check RT-PCR or they check the things and they may find COVID positive. And definitely they will not get back the body, rather they will be cremated by their own medical way. So to avoid that, and the family members really want to do the real natural ritualistic way according to their caste and religion, they are really keen and they are inviting me to the houses in the midnights and going to do examination there. So I went there and started looking at their people. And sometimes they are already bedridden for the last 5 years. And when they are already sick and they are already deteriorating, when we go there, we may feel, okay, this person may be almost dead, because there may be some of the elderly people might have already declared that, okay, this person is already dead. But still, they are looking for a medical opinion or a confirmation from a medical fraternity that everything is correct. And while, obviously we go there with the torch and we do the, pupillary dilatations, we check many things, even we auscultate, or we do pulse oximeter, we check the oxygen level, many things. While standing there, I was thinking that if at all my grandfather might have come here to declare this, how do he does this? He doesn't have any pulse oximeter. He doesn't have stethoscope. He might have never checked the pupillary dilatations. What could be the checklist for him to state a declare death? Secondly, what could be his status? Suppose the person is not dead. He may be under hyponatremia, or he may be under severe hypocalcemia, or he may be under severe hypoglycemia, or the patient may be under coma, or many other reasons, many other situations. What could be the thing? Then I realizes that there are a lot of information in our books, which is there in the Sutrasthana, is there in the Sharirasthana, is there in the Indriyasthanas, where it gives a lot of clue. Then I started reading those books. I realized that there are a lot of clues can be understood. So Just give an example from Vagbada before I come to Charaka. If you want to declare the person is dead, this shloka, which I told just before, is a very good checklist. Ulsahu Uchvasa Nishwasa, that is in the Doshadivijnaniyam chapter. You have a slokam starts Doshadad Malamulam Sada Dehasya, then Tam Chala. Ulsahu Uchvasa Nishwasa Chesta Vega Pravartani Samyagatya Chadadu Nam Akshanam Padavenaja. Then Anugranadi Avigraha, Pittam, that is about Vata. Then it says about Pittam, Biktam, Batushma Darshana, Shutra, Prabha, Veda, Dita, Tanumardavai, like that. Kleshma, Siratto, Siddhatto, Snagdibanda, Shamadibi, like Kappa. So these are the Lakshanas are wonderful to explain the physiology of a living body. And if you are able to find failure of this physiological thing, definitely you can say that this person is nearing to death or maybe already dead. Depends upon the checklist score. So that is very, very interesting. Now the question is, how do we perceive the whole idea? Actually, what happening in that person's body? This is one thing what we observe from outside. Actually, what happening in a person's body when a person is dying? From and purely from an Ayurvedic point of view. As we know that doshas are made up of guna. Vata is ruksha, laghu, shira, kara, sukshma, chala, anila. Pitta is made up of certain guna. Kapha is made up of another set of guna. And this guna sankhadam or this compacted set of gunas are called dosha. Normally, whenever we say vata is increased, that means ruksha, laghu, shida, kara, sukshma, chala gunas are increased in general. If at all some of the gunas are very specifically increased, they will say that they are specifically increased. Just like in Vatarakta, Vatalai, Shitalai, Vayu, Vritta, Krutho. So Vatalam, Vata increases, Shitam, specifically Shita is increased, Vritta, Krutho, Vimarga. So that is the situation. So if it is not specified, it is obviously understood that all the gunas of Vata is increased. Similar way for Pitta and similar way for Kapha. And this increases becomes Sanchaya, Chayo Vritti Sodamneva, it goes to its own site. Then Prakopa, Kopastu Unmarga Gamida, it will go to other site. Then it will go to Prasara, it will go to another site and spread us to different part of the body, Vyakta Pheda. So if we consider Sanjaya, Prakopa, Prasara, Sthansamshaya, Vyakta Pheda as +1, +2, +3, +4, +5, +6 like that. Imagine a situation happens in the negative side. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. That is the story of Indriya Sthana. I repeat, if Sanjaya, Prakopa, Prasara, Sthansamshaya, etc. are +1, +2, +3, +4, +5, the whole that is in the Nidana Sthanam, what we study, Indriya Sthanas are the stories of -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. The very +1, +2, +3 itself is very difficult to understand, very complex for observation. Then how can we see -1, -2, -3? I will explain. So what happened when a dosha is made up of a set of guna, or the gunas are named as dosha because of the pooling of that particular type of guna? Whenever we say vata is increased, set of gunas increase. Suppose any one guna among this thing got separated from this, what we do? Just like imagine you have a chain made out of beads, which has three settings. And by some reasons, there are some cut happen in the thread inside these beads. Then suddenly the beads will become separate. Similar way, the Vata Ruksha or Vata Pitta Ushna or Kapha Shita, something separated from that dosha. What will happen? Up to that period of time, these gunas were named as dosha because it has been named based on its performance. And they were collectively performing. Now the situation arises that this guna become independent. Ruksha become completely independent. Shita become completely independent. Tikshna become independent. If it happens, where it goes, what will be the fate of that guna? If it is not the part of that dosha, it will become part of the Mahabhuta. That means that dosha will be recognized as part of a Mahabhuta. Ruksha may be part of Vayu Mahabhuta or an Akasha Mahabhuta. Tikshna may be a part of Agni Mahabhuta. Ushna can be a part of Agni Mahabhuta, like that. That means from the network of the dosha, this guna become separate, become independent, identified in the framework of Mahabhuta. Okay, if that is reached into the Mahabhuta level, what happens? Where do we see? In our body, we always see everything based on Tridosha. If I sneeze, people will say, okay, this prana karma is there. If I have hungry, I will say, okay, samana vata, pachaka pitta is started working. But there are certain things in our body, very uniqueness, very specific to our own Mahabhuta. That is our 5 sense organs. Chakshurindriya is Agni Mahabhuta Pradhanam. Akasham, Shabda Gunagam Akasham, Shravanendriyam. Vayu Mahabhutam, Sparshanendriyam. Tatra Gandhavadi, Prithvi. Gandha, Prithvi Mahabhutam, Nasa. All our 5 sense organs become the site of expression of that particular Guna. This is the reason why the whole sthana has been named as Indriya. I will come to that point slowly. So this is the name, it is called Indriya. Again, this will become very, very important. So, why this has been placed in this way? Indriya sthanam, you see, between Nidana sthanam and Chikitsa sthanam. Before Chikitsa sthanam, Indriya sthana is. And after Nidana sthanam, it is like that. Suppose somebody comes in my OPD. For example, now I'm sitting in my OPD and somebody comes in my OPD complaining of cough. Sir, I have very bad cough. Then I prescribed some medicine to him. He went to home. And next day morning, I came to know, imagine I came to know that this person is died. What do I think? The problem was that I have identified Kasa as a lekshan of a Vyadhi, but I was wrong. It was an expression of an Arishta Lakshana. So whatever the Lakshana you get, symptom you get in the clinical practice, primordially you are supposed to look as an Arishta Lakshana of it. Somebody comes and say, I have a discoloration of urine. Then immediately we are supposed to think about Indriya sthana, and this discoloration is because of which disease, in which Arishta this has been told. So whenever we have symptoms, the chronology is like that. First you look into Arishta. If it is not Arishta, well, then look into the Purva Rupa. Then you look into Rupa. Then like that you travel Lakshana, Vishesha Lakshana, Samanya Lakshana, Purva Rupa. Like that you travel back. Not the other way. Normally we think, okay, there is a person comes with the Kasa. Oh, this Kasa may be because of the Purva Rupa of so-and-so disease. No, that's correct, not the correct method of Ayurveda. Ayurvedic method is that First, you check whether this kasa, whether this headache or what this symptom is it an Arishtha Lakshana of any disease? That's very important. That is why this has been kept before Chikitsa Sthana. Because if you have already manifested Arishtha Lakshana, we have to be very careful. Acharya says we should not treat. It doesn't mean that we should not treat. Yavat kandagada prano tavat karma pratikriya. Until the last breath goes, you keep on trying. Yavat kandagada prano tavat karma pratikriya. You keep on doing it. No problem. That is Bhava Prakasha says like that. But Arishtha Lakshana, if you identify Arishtha Lakshana, this means that you don't give so much of hope to the patient and patient party. You may say a condition is worsening, condition is in the very critical situation, just like a patient is in the ventilator like that. So we'll try our level best, what best we can do. Let hope for good. This is the reason why the whole Indriya Sthana has been mentioned in this way. So now let's see what happens slowly. So actually what happens in the whole Indriya Sthana is the entropy, the reversal way of things samprapti. I can say viparita samprapti happening. Normal samprapti is Sanjaya Pragopa Prasara like that. So you have a backward samprapti happening. So from the Tridoshas, guna will disintegrate, that will go to the Indriya. So you have Varna Surubiyam Indriyam and all, where you have Varna Rupa Rasa. I'll come to that chapter later. So that will go to the Indriya. Then where it goes, from Indriya, it will go to the Manas. So you have Indriyanigam Indriyam, then you have Avangshirasiriyam or Pannasurubiyam, like in the chapters where it will go to Manas, and you have different type of dreams. Different type of dreams of the presence of these type of guna. This guna. A ruksha guna in the manas will create achaya budhi kusma. There is no shadow. A dream with a tree burned like this without having any shadow. It is burning like this. Very bad dream. And Acharya says, if the person sees that type of dream, he may die in few months. There are so many shlokas are there. So that when that guna goes into the manas, you have set of things. You have hallucinations, you have many illusions, then you also have different type of dreams. Beautiful interpretation of the dream by Freud might have told beautiful interpretation, but Ayurveda can do wonderful interpretation of those things from person who is having near death. Then from that again goes from manas to ahankara. That is the very essential things. Here, from this manas, it will transcend into the sattvika ahankara, rajasika ahankara, tamasika ahankaras. So he will have different type of dreams. In sattvika ahankara, the patient will say, "Sir, I am seeing the God itself. I am seeing Lord Krishna in front of me in my dreams. Goddess are coming and blessing us." Sometimes tamasika and rajasika ahankara in the guna, the person say, "I feel like somebody is really catching my neck. I'm feeling breathless. I have very bad dream. Nightmares are horrible." Rajasika and tamasika ahankaras. And from there, slowly it will go to the Mahatattva. It is very easy to remember how our Panjigaranam starts. This is the reverse way. Avyaktam, Mahan, Ahankara, Panjatanmatra, Panchamahabhuta, Dosha. So we are having the same reverse order back to the Avyaktam. Too easy to remember. So traveling back. So the point where Rajasigam, Sattvika Ahankaras level, persons will be highly disturbing with a lot of hallucinations, lot of mind disease. Then slowly he'll transcend to Avyakta. He will lose his own identity. Aham na janami. Who I am, I'm not there. Slowly saddened. This is the boundary. This is the boundary where the disease is, that his condition is non-reversible. Up to this period of time, we have a lot of period of time. We can try to understand different step by step, and we can treat sometime. There are possibility to have some reversibility, but at this point comes, but then there is onward march only, no reversal situation at all. This point become very important. Nowadays, when we are in the hospital, when we see many patients in the ICUs and all critically conditions, doctors have no idea where to stop, hopper care, where to stop. You're giving critical care, you're giving next care. Now there is a junction point that the person is not going to come back again to normalcy. So where to stop the treatment? Where to stop? There is a question in Sadhyo Maraniyam Indriyam, in the 10th chapter of Indriyasthana, Atreya asking a question. So the question is asked by Agnivesha to Atreya. Where to stop? When to stop it? I will come to that point when we come to the Samhita. So slowly this is the travel. If you are able to understand this pathogenesis, negative pathogenesis or reversal pathogenesis in a step-by-step way properly, then you will be able to really appreciate what is happening in the Indriyasthana. Otherwise, this will be simply a data or feel like many things are being told, but not able to understand the logic behind it, the principle behind it. So what I want to say in the first part is that the whole Indriyasthana made with the principle of reverse travel of person from doshas that is dissolved into guna, that dissolved into mahabhuta, that dissolves into manas, that dissolves into rajas, sattva, rajas, tamas, and avyakta, ahankara backward. So that is the first part of it. So if we are able to understand this samprati, then things become very, very easy to understand. If not, it is difficult. This is actually, practically, it takes a lot of experience. Just like if you read Nidana Sthanam, it is very difficult to identify Sanchaya state of a disease, Prakopa state of disease. Okay, Vyakta Bheda disease is easy. But how are we able to understand Sanjaya, Prakopa, Prasara, all the 6 stages of disease very precisely, systematically? No, most of the time it's very, very difficult. +1, +2, +3 itself is very difficult. Then how come this become backward? So backward journey, the journey of Indriyasthana, it travels from dosha, dhatu, mala, etc., separating to the guna. Gunas will turn into mahabhuta and mahabhutas into later on. Then from one more part is that this mahabhuta status comes, is also reflected to the outside. That means kalam, the time duration will change from inside and outside. Bhumi deha prabedena deha mahu vihuddhita. Bhumi deha, bhumi desha, deha desha. So you have outside environment with made up of Panchamahabhuta, inside environment also Panchamahabhuta. So when you have a reflection of that Panchamahabhuta, this also will be spread outside. A Shita guna of Vata go deeper and deeper into that Mahabhuta, and that reflects from that person's body. And the lamp which was burning there will just distinguish. There is a statement in Charak Samhita. There was a lamp was burning in the patient room. Enough oil was there. Thread was very intact. There was no wind, but suddenly the fire extinguishes. What happened? That fire is in contact with Shita Guna, not Ushna Guna. That is spreaded from the Purusha, Pure Vasati, Atma is residing here, Pure Vasati, it is spreading to that light and it distributes. That's a reflection of that. Pure Vasati, that Purusha. So you can sense that guna outside. So that is called Purushanashrita Lakshana in Indriyasthana. So you have Purushashrita Lakshanas, Purusha Anashrita Lakshanas. So related with the patient's body or the person who is dying body and the reflection of that things into different people. If it is a person, then we call it as Duta Lakshana. Person who carries that message he'll be carrying that Mahabhuta Guna. So here, Duta Lakshana. Then it may be to a material like a lamp. It may be reflected into a mirror. It may be reflected to a bottle of water there. It may be reflected to a person. A woman was carrying her husband continuously. Maybe the husband was bedridden for many, many months. When we visited, had an interaction with the lady, the bedridden person and wife, 75, she was started telling me, at least from last 2-3 days, I suddenly lost my appetite. I was doing everything the same food, same lifestyle. The Shida Guna of that patient, Purusha Ashrita, is reflected to the bystander. She became that was a reflection of another Adhishta. So trying to understand Adhishta Lakshana, it's a beautiful way if you are able to have that capacity to improve your sensory perceptions very, very sharp, then you will catch up things from the patient party, from the patient's body, very precisely. When I was doing my MD Kaya Chikitsa in SDM Udupi in 2000, there was an intensive care unit where I was repeatedly going because I was very much interested to see the death of the people, even though it is not a nice thing to say. There was a modern medical doctor, the wife of the senior surgeon there in the hospital. She was modern medical MBBS plus something, specialized in emergency medicine something. She was the thing. So I kept one Charaka Samhita there in that ICU. And I started observing conditions. There are cases with stroke, died some nights. There are cases came with leptospirosis, rat fever, came and died. At least in a month, for multiple reasons, including coronary artery disease or many diseases, at least in a month, for multiple reasons, 4 or 5 deaths will happen. So I started observing all these patients along with the madam. I keep on asking madam, she doesn't know anything about Charaka Samhita. I keep on asking the madam, what is happening in this patient? So she will try to give me many explanations according to the conventional science, possibly many things logical. Sometimes it is difficult to say. Sometimes there is no answer from her because she also doesn't know how it is happening. But interestingly, I found many things written in Charaka Indriyasthana was really happening in these patients. When it says there are things has been changed, it's changing. So this is really interesting. If you are keen enough to understand these things, definitely Indriyasthanam is a wonderful area. So you may ask, oh, Nambi sir, I think you are a person who can make death declaration. Is it the only advantage? No. The advantage is that there are situations where you can prognose the conditions. There are situations when we can minimize the financial burden of the patient party. When we say the situation is irreversible situation, why can't we stop giving treatment? At least not to give too much of expensive things, rather support the patient to die smoothly, comfortably. Anayasena maranam, vina dainyena jivitam. So why can't we help the person to have a smooth, comfortable, transitional death? That could also be a very important area nowadays, especially with palliative care areas and all. Lot of work is happening in this area nowadays. Anyhow, so that is my first part to say you that how these things are. Now my second part is how we keeping on this idea. Now, if we go through the Charaka Indriya Sthanam, as I mentioned you first, when the gunas transcends or dislodge or separate from a dosha, become independent. There was a period it was a part of the great dynamic organic system of dosha, become very much independent. It has to get identified by a certain set of indriyas. So that is why the chapter first starts with Varna Surubiyam Indriyam. So Varna Surubiyam Indriyam, where you have multiple Varnas. So starting with Swara, Gandha, Rasa, Sparsha, beautifully Charaka explains that. Ihagalu Shabdo, Vyakala Mahankari, Ihagalu Varnascha, Swarascha, Gandhascha, Rasascha, Sparsascha, Chakshuscha, Shostramcha, Kranascha, Rasanascha, like that, explaining by Charaka. Try to understand. Medacha, Belascha, Glanishcha, Harshascha, many things will come. I'll come to that point slowly. So in this chapter, he explains that things will go deep and deeper. In this Varnam, we have studied the physiological Varnam, Panduraruna Varjita. For Vata, there are set of Varna. Pitta, there are certain Pita, Nila, there are different Varna for Pitta. There are different Varna for Kapha when they are in the Prakrita Avastha and Vikrita Avastha. But here, Varnas become very much changed. The whole body color will change. Acharya says also, Chaya cha pradhichaya cha sapna darshanam cha, other thing. Chaya, pradhichaya, etc. It's very difficult to explain. Kanti, Shopha, Chaya. There are these are comes repeatedly in many contexts in Indriya Sthanam. What is this Chaya? Is it a shadow? Is it a thing? No, this is something very different. Very difficult to explain also. When I was doing my MD, I had one a great teacher. His name was Siddhinandana Mishra. Still he is alive. One of the most senior most Rashastra person. Retired from Banaras Hindu University. And now he's maybe 90 plus. Okay. He was teaching us Rashastra. So I had a long conversation with him. And he was a very spiritually enlightened person also from a Bihar. Great spiritual person. So whenever the power cut happens in the room, I'll just go to his house because it's just 2 houses around the room I am staying. Then I keep on asking him many things. Even besides, he give wonderful roti and aloo paratha beautifully. Besides this wonderful food, he was also feeding me with a lot of spiritual knowledges. And I started asking him these type of questions like, sir, what is this chaya? What is this prabha? So he told, it is very difficult to explain you, but I can show you, I can demonstrate you. So he bought a lamp. He brought a lamp. Then he showed me, you see, this is the shadow, opposite direction of the lamp. This is a shadow. Okay, now that I know, shadow I know. Then he asked me, you touch on my body. Now you see the front side of the light. Then I looked to the front side of the light. There is also another shadow. Almost the double size of my body with a double size of another shadow. So he told, this is the chaya. So you have pradhichaya, this is the chaya. And I disconnected from him. I lost. There is no more. I was surprised. So it's like, so I asked, is it something like aura? So he told, maybe like that. Like, nowadays we have aura imaging machines. There are so many aura techniques are there, Kirlian photographies and all. But this is happening 25 years before, not now. So that time there I've not heard about aura imaging many machines or aura at that time, but it was good. And he was explaining me that different diseases, different conditions, this chaya and prabha, this thing will change. I was very much surprised by seeing that. Based on that color of that thing, you know, in the shadow will get always black, except it depends upon the light. You may have some boundary, well-defined, ill-defined, depend upon the light source. But here, it comes like an egg shape, big egg shape with multiple color thing. It may be cloudy a little bit, then some may be some yellowish color, some golden yellow color, then bluish color, like that. So he was telling me that if it is cloudy, then this person is a little bit rajasic and tamasic. The more and more becomes sattvic, he become more yellowish color. And more yellowish, more and more spiritual enlightened become golden yellow color. Then he says that when it's a highly spiritual enlightened person, like a god, like things, it'll become yellow, deep yellow or blue. That is why Lord Krishna has Neela Varnam, Pidambaram, you know, yellow color dress and all. He was telling me in a spiritual dimensions. But what I want to say is that these things has been already described in this chapter. So Varnam, Swaram, Gandham, Rasam, Sparsham, the whole chapter in this Varna Swarubiyam Indriyam, they explains about different Varnas and how to identify this Varna in different chapters. And through this Varna, especially the eyes, nose, you know, nowadays we say it when people have hypoglycemia, the color will change. Hyponatremia, the skin color will become pale. Or you have oxygen supply, lack of oxygen supply, anoxia, then you have a bluish discolorations. That is different. That is something, you know, now we can see. But here things are described in a very deeper way. From Varna, they also started telling about the Swara, how the sound is changing. In the Kasa Jigilsa, Bhinna Kamsa Swara, sound is happening different way. Urtashwasam, Mahashwasam, Chinnashwasam, when you read the Urtashwasam, Mahashwasam and all, you will be surprised by looking at that Urtashwasa, Mahashwasas and all. It looks like a person is going to death, like a pulmonary edema. Person can collapse with the pulmonary edemas and all. So the voice will change. And so these chapters are slowly describing. I don't want to go through all the details because every chapter will have 15 to 20 shlokas, and each shlokas, if I need another 10 or 15 hours to explain. And moreover, you may think that it is simply like an imagination. It's not imagination. Indriya Sthanam cannot be taught, but can be seen, can be observed. That is my statement I want to repeat. Indriya Sthanam cannot be taught, but it can be seen, it can be observed if we are being trained in a right, sensitive way. And the next things what happen is beautifully is the Pushpigradapakam Indriyam. When it comes to the second chapter, the gunas are traveling from Indriyas and slowly it is going to the next level of it. That is from moving from small part of these things from next part. From Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, many things. They says that Apludan Aplude Kaye, Yasya Gandha, Shubha Subha, Vityasana Nimittasya, Sa Pushpita Mukchide. There are different smells coming when you see the patients with the diabetic ketoacidosis, diabetic coma. Patient have high blood sugar level, 400, 500 level, and they are in the hospital or they are in the house. They will have a fruity smell because of the ketone bodies will be eliminated through the urine, and that urine will be full of ketone bodies, and it will have very peculiar type of smell. And this patient may go to diabetic coma, and later on the person may die. Acharya is saying, Apludan Aplude Kaye, Yasya Gandha, Shubha Shubha. So try to understand different types of things. And also, very interestingly, they says that you try Tada yatha chandanam kushtam tagaragurni matri malyam mutta purisheva amardani kanabaniya. Very interesting. I visited one patient during the COVID time. So the husband was in the bedridden and the wife was sitting aside. And I was taking the history. Then the wife told me that, sir, I was applying the Guruvayur temple prasadam every day on the forehead of my husband. You know, I'm a great Krishna Bhakta. I stay one of the important temple nearby here, Guruvayur, one of the famous temple in Kerala, in the center of Kerala. And you know, a lot of people, there are millions of people visit this temple every day, and they will get a prasadam called Kalapam Chandanam and all. So there is a traditional custom that when somebody sick, the wife or family members take blessings from there, and they will apply the chandanam, even the person not taken bath or anything. So the wife was telling me that, sir, I was applying this chandanam every day to my husband. Yesterday, I applied. It suddenly kept as it is wet. Normally, if I apply chandanam, after some time, 15 minutes, it normally get dry up because of the Ushna Sharira of that thing. But yesterday and today, I applied. The forehead, that chandanam is still like that, still wet. It is not that. That means that Ushnatvam is slowly decreasing in that body. This is a great additional action. And in that case, next day, that patient died. So that is an additional action. So if you are keen enough, this is a sloka. Tadyatha chandanam kushtam agragurani madhi malyam mutra purisheva mrtani kanapanicha. This is the description. I am reading from Charaka Samhita Indriyastanam, 2nd chapter, which is I have seen in the clinic. So in the 2nd chapter, it will go from Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha, Shabda, slowly, you know, from Prithvi, then Jala, Agni, Vayu, Akasha. Slowly, Akasha, proximal to Manas. Vayu, Akasha, in order, it is proximal to Manas. Patient will start auditory hallucinations. Patient will say, sir, I am hearing many people are speaking outside, but there is nobody speaking. Auditory hallucination. So I'm hearing many things. I'm feeling many things are running on my body. Sparsha pradhanye adrisyusho pramana avashesham jitnyasu sadadam spandamananam sharira deshanam stambha nityoshnanam shita bhava. Like that. Asanna marana lakshanam. There are things are slowly going from Pancha Mahabhuta level into mind. When it comes to the 4th chapter, Indriyanikam Indriyam. Indriyanikam Indriyam means that is, it is transcending from Indriya to Indriya. That means from an Indriya to Manas. Now, Jalesu Vimale Jalamaja Jale Vadre Narastide Gachadiva Dashtua Jevidayam Parimuchite. Seeing an ocean, but there is no waves. Seeing beautiful river, but it is standstill. Sthidam gachadi vadushtu. Nothing, everything is standstill. Sthira gunam. Tam chala is a vata gunam. Sthira, vata guna. Sthira guna is deteriorating. Sthira guna reaching there. It's a wonderful example for another sign of death. So it is slowly coming to the Manas in Indriyanikam Indriyam. And when it comes to the next chapter, that is the real reflection of irreversibility happens. That is Purvarupasya Sadhyana Vikaranam Pratak Bhinna Bhinnani Vakshami Bishajam Jnana Vrithaye. Jnana and Vrithaye. Experience and very elderly people. My next sentences will be very much beautiful, and he specifies that there are different Purvarupa of. Even in Jwara Purvarupa, you have a certain pattern. If it is a Jwara, you have a certain pattern. If you are Raktapitta, there are certain pattern. In this way, this should manifest. Because Sanchaya, Prakopa, Prasara, Sthana, Samshaya, there is a pattern. But if you find this pattern is missing, then you have to be very careful. explaining very nice, very nice changes. You see, Stanasyanilipta Gatrebi, Yasmin Gichanagi Makshiga, Sab Pramehena Samsparsya, Prapya Teneva Hapidi. Just now he's taken bath. Snanasya Lipta Gatrebi, just now he's taken bath, cleaned his body. Yasmin Gichanagi Makshiga. In his body, Makshigas, the flies are coming in and around his body. Pramehena Samsparsya. Diabetic ketoacidosis and diabetic renal failure, and person is in diabetic coma. And this is a fatal situation of prameham. Sa pramehena samsparsya prapya tene eva hanyade. Patient is going to die soon. So this is the way. I don't want to read all the shlokas, it takes a long time, but I'll just put some examples. So like the way the first 5 chapters travel largely among the play of gunas in this Panchamahabhuta, and slowly to the manas level, from manas level to the next level. Here the very crucial question asked by Agnivesha. Kadamani sharirani vyathimandim mahamuni yani vaidya pariharrit ishu karmascha siddhyati ityagniveshena guru prashnam pushta punarvasu. Agnivesha asked. Even though we are making lot of effort. Kadamani sharirani vyathimanti mahamune, great muni. Yani vaidya parihare sharasheshu karmani siddhyati. Even though we are making so much of effort of treatment, it's not working. Why can't we stop treatment? What is the boundary of reversibility and irreversibility? What is the boundary? A great question. We should ask, every doctor should ask whenever we treat a patient. Every person will die. That is why Bhagavatam says. There is a great book, Bhagavatam. I like to be a little bit spiritual, philosophical also while explaining this. Bhagavatam says that there is a Muni, there is a Raja, Parikshit. So he was traveling in the forest. So he found a Muni was doing meditation. He found very funny. Oh, he's looked like a Lord Shiva. Let him have a garland of snake also. He took a dyed snake, put it on his neck, and went off. Then when his son come, he realizes, my father was doing such an enlightening situation in the meditative status. How dire this person who put a dead snake on my head. The person who put the snake on my father's neck will die in next 7 days. This was the shapa given to that Parikshit. That is the story of the great Puranam called Bhagavata Puranam. And this is applicable to all of us. Everybody will die in 7 days. We all will die in 7 days. Either on Monday we'll die, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Any of these 7 days we will die. We don't have another day. Any of this day we will die. So we have left only 7 days. Any of this day. Provided we think that we body are. So after some time, the Guru, the Muni will wake up and he'll say, his son will say, somebody put a snake on your neck. I was given a sharp part to this person. The Muni told, no, you could have done something wrong. You know, these Rajasic people, kings and all, they are all Rajasic people. They will always think like that only. You are a Sattvic person. You are a son of me. You could have understood that. You could have not do that. Anyhow, you are already given Shapa. It has to happen. It has to happen. There is no option. Do one thing. You go and tell the Parikshit Raja that he is going to die in next, say, 7 days. Then the son will go there and tell the Raja that this has happened. So you are going to die in next 7 days. So he was very upset. He called all the Vaidyas nearby and started asking, is there any choice? Then after looking at the astrology, after looking at everything, the Vaidyas told, what and all karma you have done, you have to face. Whether it is Sanjidam, Agami, Prarabdham, all the karmas, you have to suffer by yourself only. There is no other option. No, nothing can be done. Then he started crying. Then the great person, Sri Shuga Brahmarshi, will come and he will say, I will save you. And he started explaining the great Puranam, Srimad Bhagavata Puranam. Then we may think that, okay, so that 7 days he will teach Bhagavata Puranam, then it may escape him, he make him to escape from the death. Either with this some technique, he will avoid the death, or he may give some special medicine. Nothing will happen. On the 7th day, Parikshit will die. But he will realize that he will not die. Death is happening to the Sharira, Manobuddhi, Ahankara, not the Atman. Atman is Chiranjeevi, so Atman is not dying. The karma is done by Sharira, not Atma. So you are not dying if you consider yourself Atma. So that was in the Dodasha Skandam in 18,000 slokas in the Bhagavatam. I am little bit deviating from the part of this, but it is also part of Indriya Sthanam. So that is why I am speaking about a little bit philosophical thing, but it is also true. Any 7 days we will die. So there is also another Upanishad. Also we should study related with this. That is called Chandogya Upanishad. We should study Chandogya Upanishad. In Chandogya Upanishad, there is a father and son discussion. Uddalaka and Shvetaketu. Uddalaka is the son and Shvetaketu. Uddalaka is the guru or the father, and Shvetaketu is the son. So there was some conflict happening between Uddalaka and Shvetaketu, and the son will start asking Uddalaka, the father, that what about the death? What happens after death? Like so many questions. Then he will ask, you go and ask the Kalam, the Kala, Yamaraja. And then he will go. That is beautiful study. You can download in internet. If you are interested, you will get Chinmayananda, great orator of from Mumbai. He was also from Kerala, Chinmaya Mission. They have translated the Chandogya Upanishad beautifully in English. You can read it. Very small book, not a big book, but a lot of information about death and related that. So what I want to say is that Kadamani Kadamaniyam Indriyam, there are things will happen, especially in this chapter. It's related with from the manas to the boundary. When it comes to the, why it is called chapter number 6, Panjajnanendriya, 5, then 6, then 7, Pannasurubiyam Indriyam. Pannarupani. Pannasurubiyam Indriyam is very important. Dushtvayasya Vijaniyat Pannarupam Kumarigam. Most of the name of this chapter, already given. Already you may understood that. That chapter name is the first word of the shloka of that chapter. But there are some hidden reason also. Chaya, Trichaya, many things have been explained here in this chapter, especially Prabha, Teja, reflecting from the from Panja Tanmatra, Panchama Mahabhuta to Tanmatra level, Rajas, Sattva, Tamas, and into the next level of Ahankara level. So if you are interested to read more about this, you have to read another Tibetan way of living and dying by Sogyal Rinpoche. It is available in the internet. You type down Sogyal Rinpoche's Tibetan way of living and dying. Wonderful book. The story is about a guru and a disciple. A disciple is very much fearful about death. And he explains how death happens, what are the sequential way of death, beautifully. You believe it or not, but very beautifully explained. Not very old book, very recent book only. Tibetan way of living and dying. And very much close to our descriptions. We have in the Sharirasthana, Udair Chadurbi Sahita, Charira Shariram Vedi Dehat. Charak says in the first chapter of Sharirasthana, Udair Chadurbi, Akasha is Vibhu, is everywhere. Chadurbi Sahita. Take all other tanmatras, the reflections of this Sharira Shariram, from transferring from one body to another body. That journey from 0 to to the next. That's another area. That is not our preview here, but time permits, I'll speak in the last. So it goes to the 7th chapter, and at last, the last 4 chapters, that is Avakshirasiyam Indriyam, it will become more and more very, very specific to specific lakshanas. And here they very specifically says that very quickly person will strike. Yes, Shavanimitiyam Indriyam, and these chapters were explains about how things are going beyond Rajas, Sattva, and Tamas, and spontaneous collapsing of a person's Savenam Rudram Dasya. Muhas Muhar Rasit Prasithade, Shulyade, Sulyascha Tutyade Kukshi, Pratyakejita Tadrush. Savenam Rudram. Suddenly, blood is coming from the mouth, severe chest pain, abdominal pain, patient collapses. Inferior wall of myocardial infarction. When you have acute inferior wall of the myocardial infarction hums, you don't have precordial pain, no chest pain at all. Severe abdominal pain will happen, and inferior wall, very difficult to treat, and patient will collapse in the spontaneous way of this. So there are many conditions we can also correlate from a modern point of view. That's another story, which is not my bread and butter or my idea today here. My idea is to try to understand the whole thing from Indriyasthana. So lastly, the Sadhyo Maraniyam, that is the last 10, and Anujyodiriyam, that is the last. The whole death proceeds from Vyakta to Avyakta. So that time, the Sogya Rinpoche beautifully explains that. So what happens? There will be in each Mahabhuta level what the person feels. He gives a beautiful example. Just like if you dive inside a water and stand inside a water and look at outside. So you can see something, but not very clear. If somebody coming very closer to the water, you will be able to see. Similar way, that person will have somebody speaking to him, but not very clear. Son is calling father, 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 but he's not able to hear because just like he's inside the water. There are thunderstorms, different sounds, lightning, many things happening. When they are in the Mahabhuta level, then it goes to the Manas level, it will become very dark. When very tamasic level, it will go to very deep dark level. From there are 3. Sogya Rinpoche explains there are 3 ball-like things comes up, and that will start making a journey. Very interesting, which is very similar to that. Anujyodiriyam Indriyam. My father was a great disciple of Kuttancheri Ajahn Moose, one of the great luminary person, Ashtavaidya from Kerala. He was treating Ramana Maharshi. You might have heard a great sage called Ramana Maharshi stayed in Tiruvannamalai in Tamil Nadu. In 1953, he got Samadhi. So my father's guru, Kuttancheri Ashtavaidyan Kuttancheri Ajahn Moose, were standing aside him. He had a big sarcoma in the axillary, big cancer, a sarcoma was there. When the size became very much big, the surgeon came and asked him, it is better we made a surgery. He told, okay, you can do surgery, but without giving anesthesia. Anesthesia without giving, it will be very painful. Ramana Maharshi told, no pain at all. Don't worry. You tell me when are you going to do surgery? I will withdraw myself from that area. Are you joking? No, I will do. Ramana Maharshi stood, lay down in the operation table. He withdrawn his mind. Venkatramana surgery, Dr. Venkatramana has done wonderful surgery. It is available in the internet. You can read it. I'm not exaggerating anything. Everything is fact and truth, which is from my heart and tradition. So, Venkatramana done all the surgery. Osteosarcoma happened. My father's guru was standing aside. After that also, the sarcoma is growing. So he was preparing Gugulu Diktakam Kashayam and washing. You know, the great Vadavyadi Yogam. In the Vadavyadi Chilsa, Nimbam, the Shapadodni Digdiganam, Bagam, Pratak Teshabilami, Bajet Kadeba, that famous Gugulu Diktam Kashaya Yogam. He prepare every day and do wash to minimize the condition. But of course, He had samadhi and he was standing aside and he told there is a light went out of his body and joined in the temple. There was a Tirunamali Shiva Kshetram light in Anujodiri Mandir. Maybe in a spiritual enlightened people. This point is very important. Whenever we have more and more sattvic line, our death will be very simple, easy, comfortable. In the other way, Rajasic and Tamasic way, we are so much of attached, so much of bounded to ourselves, our family members, children, properties, wealth, many things. Death will be really, really haunting, horrible. I'm not exaggerating. It is reality. Vagbada also says, Nityam hidahar vihara sevi samikshagari vishesha zaktam dada samasatya paraksha bhavan aptoba sevi cha bhavatya roga. If you want to get out of your disease, Nityam hidahara vihara sevi samikshagari, be aware of your vishesha sakta, minimize your cravings, vishesha sakta. Data, do danam, give. There is a great question in Mahabharatam. I'm quoting many things. That's called Yaksha Prashnam in the Mahabharatam. Yaksha will ask a big questions when Yudhishthira. What is the fastest thing in our world? So you say Manas. Okay. So there are so many questions Yaksha will ask because all the four brothers are unconscious, almost near to death. That is Yamaraja's question called Yaksha Prashnam. In that one question is, if somebody is going to die, what he is supposed to do? So Yudhishthira became very silent and he told, Dhanam. That's the only thing. So do Dhanam. The more and more you donate, the more and more sattvic you become, the death will become more and more easy. So that was my second part of it. So the Samhita ends with like that, explaining about, lastly, he explaining about Duta thing. So I will give some more examples for this Duta. I was sitting aside with one of the traditional Vaidya. He's a very Vishnu Vaidya called Avanaparamba Maheshran Nambutiripa. He, in the COVID period, he's passed away. He at the age of 92. I was sitting aside with him. He was treating Vashta cases. He was treating Hasti Ayurveda. One day I was sitting with him. We were chit-chatting. Then he came. Then we were sitting in front of the house. Then one person was coming from the gate. He walked in the house and came to the Vaidya. Sir, Raman got a snake bite on the face. To him, he told, he is already dead. You go. This person was under tremendous shock. What are you telling? I'm just coming from the Raman's house. He has been beaten by a snake. That's what I need your help. Please come. He told, no, he's already dead. This person with a great disappointment, he traveled back. Then I looked at him and asked, how dare you are to say such a statement? How confident you are to say such a statement? You are speaking from last 1 hour with me. How did you know? There is no mobile. You didn't spoke to anyone this time. How did you know this? Then he asked, are you really observed the way he has come? No, I didn't really observe because I was speaking to you, no? You know that he just closed the gate. There was a lot of wooden, small stick were there, dried wooden sticks. And with one leg, he took one dried wooden stick and came to us. Just near to me, he dropped that wooden stick also. You know, when you take a wooden stick, is a stick you carry to burn the dead body. Dahanam for the Agnida. That means this is the time that the person is already dead. This is called Dimmitta. He carried the Duta, carried that message, that message to me. I was very much surprised. That was the real legendary people. They are very much sensitive. I used to ask them, they will teach me very simple techniques, how to do this type of things. It's very difficult to teach, as I want to say. I'll give you another example of my father, given another example. It was around 10-15 years before. One day, it was a Sunday, I believe. Yes, it was a Sunday. One day afternoon, I was reading some book. My father was sleeping in the first floor of the house. Mom was doing some other things. Then somebody knocked, belled the house. Then when I opened, that was the priest of the nearby temple. He was around 80, feeling little sick. His grandson was also there. Grandson is my classmate. So we started just conversating, and he looks sick. He has some edema, little bit on the face, on the lips. Of course, 80-year-old person, definitely he can come. Then I keep on asking some questions. So he told, we want to meet your father. Okay. It was after lunch, Sundays, he used to sleep, take a nap. So from the downstairs, I made a big loud noise. Father, father, please wake up, please wake up, please come down. Then after multiple calls, father came down. He came down, he started speaking to this priest. They were knowing each other from last 50 years. And this priest was teaching me also many, temple pujas and many spiritual things. So he was also to guru to me. They had many conversations. I was standing there. Then father told me, okay, go and get me the prescription pad. So whenever I'm there, I used to write the prescription. He will just tell me. So I took the prescription pad and brought here. That is the only last page. This is the last page. I told her, father, this is the last page. I mean to say that it's a time to give the communication to the printer that you can get it. Then he stared at me. Didn't told anything. Then he returned some medicine. He told me some tried the medicine. I given the medicine. And when he was leaving, he slipped his leg. Then suddenly I caught him, took him to the auto. Then they went. As soon as they went, he asked me, what do you think about this case? As usual question. What do you think about this case? I told, yeah. I found something fishy. I don't find unusual. Maybe he's developing some left ventricular hypertrophy. He may have some age-related hypertension. What I know is not a hypertensive, but maybe developing some hypertension, left ventricular hypertension, some problems, some leg edema is there. Okay. Then you bring Ashtangardhyam. Skalido Padito Piva. When patient slips his leg, these things is an additional extra. He demonstrated all the event and given me many, many points. This person is going to die. Then I was very shocked. What are you saying? Shall I take him to hospital? Oh yes, you can. Then his grandson is my classmate. So I informed him, we'll take the person to the hospital. You check there. So we went to the hospital casualty. They checked the routine. Everything is fine. No left ventricular hypertrophy. ECG was normal. No much issues. Came back. Maybe they told, maybe you take some Lasix, like, diuretics, mild way. This happened on Sunday. Tuesday morning, this person passed away. I was a bit shocked. I told, how do you do this? How do you know this? So he described the whole scenario, step by step. I told, okay, now I understood. But I didn't understand why you given this medicine. You are given a Nayobayam Kashayam. You are given Thanantarangulika. These are not the medicine for edema. These are not the medicine for what his symptoms are. You could have given Vidadi Kashayam, Partharishtam. There are so many other things you could choose, Punardavadi Kashayam. Why don't you do that? He told, no. You see, there are so many things which is not told in the text. Actually, what you done, you are a Duta. What you done, instead of coming on the first floor and making me calling up, you made a big noise. Father, acha, please come down, please come down. So you are a carrier of this. So this means that this person also will die with big like Mahashwas or Chinnaswas and die. To avoid that, to minimize that, Ayopayam, Vadhanalomanaptam is there, Dhanandra Mudiga is there, minimize that. I asked his grandson, how was the death of your grandfather? Very cool, comfortable. Morning he had her routines, puja, everything. Then he was a little bit fatigued. He lay down in the chair. Then he had some tirtham, another thing. No much breathlessness, he collapsed. So this is the strength of our Shastra. Very, very deep. These chapters are incredibly deep, very sensitive, very difficult to teach. But if we are sensitive enough, definitely will happen. I started keep on observing this in my personal life, and many times I was succeeded to know this, but there was a statement that don't tell to the family members, that don't become famous by making these type of stories. Don't do that. I give another example 10, 7 or 8 years before. One of my patient, he was very close to me, staying just 4 or 5 kilometers. His father was bedridden for almost 5 years. So he called me one Sunday, Nambiji, can you come? Vaidiji, can you come one day to my house? Because I cannot bring you my father there. Here. Can you come to my house? Of course I can come. So he organized a car, because since I don't know the route, he organized a car and he came to my house. Then I took the usual things, everything in my kitchen, everything. Then I get into the car and we just came out. Just moved our car. Suddenly other car came from opposite. Then actually we have to travel towards north. But my driver took the car towards south, because this car has to come inside. From astrological point of view, from other thing, towards south is not a good direction to move. And again, I just had a thought. Then we traveled, and we are near to the house. Normally, when Vaidyaji is coming, many people may be there, some nearby people may be there, but there was nobody. And this person told, Vaidyaji, you please get down here, because there is difficulty to park the car here. So I will I'll keep my car somewhere else and come back. So he dropped me alone. Atma, Sharira Bandham. Sharira is a Kshetra. Atma, he dropped me outside and he went. After a few minutes, he came back. We both together went into his house. I seen the patient. Condition was as usual, how it was. Then I was very surprising. I was wearing a dhoti. Somebody was pulling my dhoti. Then I looked, there was a small 2-year-old child pulling my dhoti. So I told, hey, why are you doing this? I just touched. She was really pulling me away from the sea. Again, another very strong nimitta. Children are Nishkalanga, Nirmama, Nishakalanga. They are like God. Then I spoke to mom. Then I found many other things. I didn't told anything to them. I told the friend, okay, I will give you the prescription from my house. Sitting here, writing prescription is not correct. And moreover, I want to give you the medicine from my pharmacy. Then he came, the car again. We brought the car and traveling back. Then again, near my house, he stopped the car, told, Sir, Sarji, if you don't mind, I'll just stop the car for a few minutes, because I want to buy something from the shop, which is very unusual. Journey stops. Then came to room. I do my own calculations, given some Dhanandaran Gulika, some simple medicine for next 2 days. Dhanandaran Gulika, very simple, Vatanlomanam, simple medicines. Third day morning, this person passed away. But there was enough evidence I had that this person will leave the body. But I didn't I told them condition is critical, condition may worsens, because I'm Yamaraja Namastupyam. I am not the Yamaraja. I'm not the person who supposed to say the death of any person. But this Shastra have enough informations in situations. For example, if I want to take a patient from hospital ICU to back home, this is a very good time. There are many situations we can do. So that is the things I've already spoken so much. And that is what I want to say you, that Charaka Indriyasthana can be taught very, very deeply. Of course, if I want to speak all the 112 chapters with examples, with multiple stories. I have so many stories in my personal life. But this is not the right time. But a great Ayurveda day, I was very fortunate to speak, address you all with a unique topic of Indriyasthanam. I am very much blessed by the organizers for inviting me for this program. And thank you very much. And I left next 10 minutes for some questions. If at all, if I'm able to answer with my ancestors' blessing, I will try to do. Thank you so much. Namaste.
नमो नमः। धन्यवाद सर, बहुत सुंदर था व्याख्यान। आपने जैसे कहा कि अनटच है, बहुत बार ये इंद्रिय स्थान के पत्तों को, पानों को भी स्पर्श नहीं किया जाता, इतना वो दुर्लक्षित है। कुछ प्रतिशत लोग इसे केवल वाचन एग्जाम के लिए ही पढ़ते हैं, लेकिन आप जैसे कुछ वैद्य जरूर है जो इसे इंफॉर्मेशन से आवाज नॉलेज तक कन्वर्ट करते हैं। आपने जैसे कहा कि ये डेटा है, केवल इंफॉर्मेशन, इस भरोसे अगर हम बैठेंगे तो ये ज्ञान का जो सफर है कभी तय नहीं कर पाएंगे। और आपने जो कहा कि आप स्पिरिचुअल बेस है, आपने कितने सारे उदाहरण भी दिए। तो इंद्रिय स्थान जानने के लिए एवं संहिता, ये वेदों का ही हम अध्ययन करते हैं, हमें अध्यात्म के ही राह पर चलना पड़ता है, तभी हमें सिद्धि भी मिलती है और आनंद भी मिलता है। इतना सुंदर था आपका क्लासिफिकेशन कि आर्किटेक्चरल एक फ्रेमवर्क क्या है इंद्रिय स्थान की, 12 अध्यायों का सार भाग क्या है, और आपके अनुभव, क्योंकि जब तक इन अनुभवों की जोड़ आगे के फर्स्ट 2 स्ट्रक्चर को नहीं मिलते, तब तक जो नए वैद्य है या जो भी इसका विचार नहीं करते, वो इसे कभी भी मानेंगे नहीं। तो ये बहुत सुंदर था। मुझे इतना सुंदर लगा आपने जो ये पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव संप्राप्ति के बारे में कहा, कभी इसको सुना नहीं था, और कितने सरल शब्दों में कहा कि ये पंचीकरण कैसे होता है, बैकवर्ड संप्राप्ति कैसे होती है, आरंभ से लेकर, जैसे इंद्रिय स्थान का नाम इंद्रिय ही क्यों है, और उसके बाद में आपने क्रम जो दिए हैं, अध्यायों के क्रम वो क्यों दिए हैं, उसके बाद में साध्या साध्यत्व और डेली इसका महत्व क्या है, इंद्रिय, फिर मानस, अहंकार और महत, ये सफर कैसा रहेगा, और महाभूत से लेकर, मतलब दोष को हम जानते हैं, दोषों की चिकित्सा करते हैं, लेकिन जब ये गुण महाभूत से दोषों से छोड़कर या सेपरेट होकर महाभूत तक आ जाते हैं, तब ये नेगेटिव संप्राप्ति होती है। बहुत सारे सुंदर उदाहरण दिए जिससे हमें ये समझ में आया कि ये डेली अध्ययन करने का स्थान है और इसे समझना भी चाहिए। आपने कहा कि इंद्रिय स्थान कभी भी सिखाया नहीं जा सकता, इसे ऑब्जर्व करना चाहिए, इट शुड बी सीन, कैन बी सीन, लेकिन मैं कह सकती हूँ आपने सिखाया है आज, या कैसे इसको समझ सकते हैं, कैसे हम उसे जान सकते हैं, इसके बारे में भी आपने ट्रेनिंग दी। छाया प्रभा के बारे में कभी इतना कोई बताता नहीं, इतने सरल शब्दों में आपने बताया, वो भी सुंदर रहा। इवन पूर्व रूप जो हर वैद्य देखता है, लक्षण देखता है, वहां पर भी पैटर्न मिसिंग है अगर, तो हमें दक्ष रहना चाहिए। ये भी की है, ये हर एक वैद्य के लिए अपने चिकित्सा में ये पथदर्शक जरूर रहेगा, तो हम अच्छे से अच्छे चिकित्सा की सेवाएं रुग्णों को दे सकते हैं। छांदोग्य उपनिषद हो, महाभारत हो, ये सब संदर्भ, और आपने कुछ इंटरनेट से भी पढ़ने के लिए कहा है, जरूर हम उसका अध्ययन करेंगे और आपको उसका फीडबैक भी देंगे। देही का नाश नहीं होता है, देह का नाश होता है, कितने सुंदर और सरल शब्दों में कहा, यही अध्यात्म का सार है, भगवद गीता का भी सार है। तो मैं पुनश्च इतने सुंदर व्याख्यान के लिए और मार्गदर्शन के लिए आपको धन्यवाद देती हूँ। आपका आशीर्वाद और मार्गदर्शन सदैव हमें प्राप्त हो, ऐसी भी आशा करती हूँ। मैं अगर इस व्याख्यान के रिलेटेड कोई प्रश्न है तो जरूर हम लेंगे। सर यंग डेथ्स में हम देखते हैं कि सडन डेथ होती है, तो उस पे आप कोई मार्गदर्शन करेंगे?
Yes, actually, in the Kala Mrityu, most of the Kala Mrityus, these type of descriptions are easy to identify. But in Akala Mrityus, and especially the spontaneous death and all, the duration becomes so short that we will really miss it, or who will observe. Observation, the observer is a challenging one. There will be Arishta Lakshanas will be there in such cases, but sometime the observer will miss, or there may be observer is not trained to observe things. This is very, very important. We have to sharp observing, to get sharp observation. We have to improve our jnanendriya, very, very powerful, very, very refined way, in such a way that when you have so much of refinement in your sense organ, small things will happen. Very, very small.
सर मेरा एक प्रश्न है, जैसे हम अंतिम अध्याय में देखते हैं, हमारा जो आज का व्याख्यान का फ्लायर है उसमें मैंने वो श्लोक लिया है कि इंद्रिय स्थान का अध्ययन करने के बाद हमें क्या प्राप्त होता है, जैसे यश, सिद्ध कर्मा, धन भी लिखा है। और आपने बहुत महत्वपूर्ण कहा जो सूत्र स्थान में भी दिया हुआ है कि धन की अभिलाषा न करते हुए हमें चिकित्सा करनी चाहिए, तो इस पर आप क्या विचार रखेंगे?
Actually, धन चाहिए, but धन के साथ हम we should not follow for the wealth. Wealth will come along with that. कराग्रे वसदे लक्ष्मी, धन के लिए हम लक्ष्मी बोलते हैं, because the husband of Lakshmi is Narayana. So if you running behind Lakshmi, Narayana will not be happy. So you do one thing, you catch Narayana, you catch Lord Vishnu, so Lakshmi will come together. So you catch Vishnu, so Lakshmi आगे पीछे आते ही होगा, because आपके साथ महाविष्णु है तो लक्ष्मी जरूर आना ही है। शायद आप लक्ष्मी के साथ लक्ष्मी के पीछे जाए तो लक्ष्मी नहीं आती। वही ना, हम ऐसे बोलते हैं ना, कराग्रे वसदे लक्ष्मी। सो धन आता है, बट ज्ञान, विज्ञान, दैट इज ईश्वरा, that you take it first, other will follow you.
ग्रेट सर, कितना सरल बताते हैं आप कि सचमुच ज्ञान ही ईश्वर है और उसके प्रति हम अभिलाषा रखें या इच्छा रखें तो जरूर धन की भी प्राप्ति होती है। और मैं एक प्रश्न पूछना चाहूंगी कि जैसे हम चरक संहिता अध्ययन करते हैं, प्रतिदिन हमें ऐसा महसूस होता है कि कुछ ना कुछ प्राप्त होता है, ज्ञान, वो एक आनंद रहता है। तत्व ज्ञान तो है ही, जीवन का सार है, जीवन के हर कोई प्रश्न का उत्तर चरक संहिता में मिलता है, बस पता होना चाहिए किस अध्याय में और किस स्थान में उसे ढूंढना है। तो आप क्या एक राह दिखाएंगे या मार्गदर्शन करेंगे कि आध्यात्मिक स्तर कैसा बना रहे या संहिता का अध्ययन कैसे करें कि हम उसका जो डिवाइन पर्पस है इस अध्ययन का वो हम प्राप्त कर सके?
In our place, since we are Ashtavadyas, we by heart the whole Ashtanga Hridaya. 7,842 shlokas are by hearted before we joined to an Ayurvedic school. So that was the tradition in Kerala. Among these Ashtavadyas are the families were successors of Vagbhada. So in our house, just like you learn Lalita Sahasranamam or Vishnu Sahasranamam, I don't remember the day when I was learned Ragadi Rogan Sadhan Shakta Shloka. Remember what I mean? You understood what I mean, the words. I don't remember the day I by hearted this, because when 2 years or 3 years, I've already, because every day people are, my father was a Vaidya, grandfather, my brothers are Vaidya, every day is discussing always Ayurveda only. Every day people are reading Ashtanga Hridayam like that. Since we are followers of Ashtanga Hridayam, every Samhita has its own compactness. Charaka is grateful. I'm not completely studying Charaka Samhita. With a great thing, but only during my MD time, I completed 2 full round in that 3 years of my MD time between 99, 2000, 2004 period. Under Srinivasacharya, another teacher, every day we had Patanam and all. Before that, I have not completed from Sutrasthana to last, I haven't read. Okay, BAM study will have, that is a different thing. वो तो परीक्षा के लिए ऐसे ऐसे पढ़ते हैं, not serious study. But अष्टांग हमारा खानदान की है, because it's our family thing. What we do is that our tradition is that in 120 chapters, either we read one chapter every day, just like you read one chapter of Bhagavad Gita or something, like read one chapter every day. So 120 chapters means 4 months. You complete 1 round. In a year, you will complete 3 rounds. So if you're reading repeatedly, maybe 10 to Ashtanga is hardly, except a few chapters, most of the shlokas are in 50 or 60 shloka, every chapter. Maybe Dravadravya Vijnaniyam or Annaswarupa Vijnaniyam or some Chilsasthanam, some chapter like Jwara, we have 200, 250. Normally, we can read in 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, you can read without any commentary. We don't read commentaries. Only Moola Sthanam, original, Moola Grantham we read. Only original. Because if you read commentaries, you will be trapped with that person's opinion. We want the first-hand opinion. Then that's the first level of reading. Then they will start reading from that 1 chapter into 10 shlokas every day. There they will say that you read one or 5 shlokas, you start thinking about it. Mananam. So you start Mananam. Why this has been told like this? Why this has been told like this? What is the key behind it? So you will get a lot of insights. Things will pop up. Oh, this is this way. This is this way. This is this way. Like like hypertext pattern. And you keep on reading. So slowly, slowly, the whole thing will become like a pattern or a network of the Samhita. Charak Samhita also exactly the same. You keep on reading from different parts to open up for you. Swadhyayam, self-study. Read 1 or 2 shlokas. Try to, don't translate, don't depend upon Chakrabani, Gangadhara Vyakyanam. No need of any commentaries and all. That's for BAM students. You want to have a direct connection with Charaka and you. Okay. So first-hand information. So you read shloka, write in a book, try to break up why they have been told in this way. Why this has been told in this way. Break up little by little. It will open up wonderful new ideas. So many things.
ग्रेट आपने जो कहा ना, चाबी मिल जाती है, कीज मिल जाते हैं, फिर वो पूरा का पूरा ज्ञान का भंडार खजाना हमारे सामने खुल जाता है। तो मैं पुनश्च आपको धन्यवाद देती हूँ इतना सुंदर मार्गदर्शन करने के लिए, और आपका आशीष, आपका स्नेह सदैव हमें प्राप्त हो, यही इच्छा से और आपकी अनुमति से इस पुष्प को हम यहीं पर विराम देंगे और हमारे नए साल का ये सफर आज से ही शुरू करेंगे। तो
Great. It is a great happy and honor for me to participate. And I wish all the participants wonderful Ayurveda day. Let Ayurveda, live Ayurveda, love Ayurveda, live Ayurveda, love Ayurveda, and be a part of it. Thank you so much.
जी कृष्ण की शिक्षा ही है, स्नेह करते रहे और ज्ञान प्राप्त करते रहे। तो आपकी अनुमति से पुनर्मिलामः। धन्यवादः।